All right, we're going to start the meeting for January the 18th. I'll do the invocation. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Wilson, and then we'll have a roll call. Please stand. Heavenly Father, we appreciate letting us be here tonight to do our business for the city and keep our city in the arms of you, and knowing that we are always open to your advice through us, and we want to be where we can handle things for the city and do things in the way that they're supposed to be done. And watch out for all of us, and watch out for our city as we move forward in this new year of 2022. And we pray that the COVID strain will continue to go down, let's hope, and keep going down and move forward to letting all of us get where we don't have to worry every day of this. We also ask you to watch after our first responders as they go about their job doing this hard times. We ask in your heavenly name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Brinson?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson? Here. Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
All right, I got two guys from the American Legion here, and I'm gonna let Mr. Tom here. He's not feeling real good, so we're gonna go ahead and
No, I just don't like to stand very long at
Okay,
84.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and do yours first, and then I'll let the other American Legion get it. All right, Mr. Mallett.
Okay, I'm commander of Post 109, Tommy C. Sanders Memorial Post 109, and we'd like to request the board allow us to, in 2002, to stay in the senior center and use that on the second Tuesday of every month for meetings from 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening, as well as for any other needs that the American Legion might need. If there's something that's unusual or something, I will always request to talk to Rusty or to Melanie before we do something like that, or Mark especially, because that's his building. And just to bring you up to date, we did put our flags and a table that with the, we believe in having MIA POWs seen all the time, so we have a chair there in the front, and it's put in the building in the back where the people play cards, and that way it shows our presence. That's all I request.
Sorry, does everybody have any problem with that? Mark, is it okay with the time, dates, and all that?
That's the only thing I'd be
I mean,
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. I sent an email last week
Yeah, I got that.
recommending that exact scenario.
okay. All right, anybody want to make the motion, or?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Anybody else comments? Not, let's vote. There you go.
Thank you.
You're good to go.
God bless.
All right, now I'm gonna let the other gentleman with the Legion do his real quick too. You can come up to the podium. I know y'all gotta go, so. Mr.
Good
Wagner?
afternoon. My
Mr.
name's Andrew Wagner. I'm from One Blood, the big red buses that you see all over the place, probably. So thank you for letting me speak this evening. I'm Jim that's not here with us, Post 109 American Legion. We're asking to be able to park the red bus at the Eisen Center periodically throughout the year, to be able to have donations in North Ocoee versus where we go right now, City of Ocoee Police Department, where we park monthly, at least once or twice a month, to give somebody a safe place to be able to come, pull up to the bus, donate blood, and then go home. So we're looking to do that here in North Ocoee, to be able to represent North Ocoee as well. So
when do you want to do it?
we don't have a date in mind yet, but we're looking for the Eisen Center, I guess, and the days are going to be there and in the facility already. So without Jim here, I don't know. He has a date, but he's
He has no date yet, but
You can contact Mark.
you contact Mark. I'll get a hold of Mark
Okay.
when it comes up and find
All
out
right.
exactly when
Okay.
to make it's okay.
That's
And I
great.
will, every time they're there on the day, I will be up there, or
Okay.
someone from the post to make sure that they can use the bathrooms and so
Is
forth.
that okay for all the
I
commissioners?
just have one question.
Yeah.
This will not entail any city staff handling any of this. It's totally done between you
Totally.
and,
totally funded us, and I
Commander
will
Tom.
provide all the insurance COIs that we have and everything, but, we don't need to use, we are self-contained.
Yeah.
And we take all the trash and everything with us.
Just
If
like-
anything, it's all stays on the bus.
The only thing, again, these things should be probably gone through by Mark first, just
Yeah.
to make sure that it's
Absolutely.
accessible.
Yep. All right. You know, Mark, can you give him a card? You got a card with you? Probably not.
Just want the front desk on floor.
All right, he'll take care of your dates for you, and just let us know. Thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate that bus being out here.
Do we need to vote on that or not?
I just got a consensus. I said, is everybody okay with it? Is everybody okay with it? Yep. Yeah. All right, you're in. All right.
Thank you, God bless all.
Thank you. All right, we've got a presentation on the Ocoee Cemetery Beautification Project, Parks and Recreation Director Johnson.
Good evening again, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. I am here tonight to present to you a little slideshow on, work this. Hold on one sec.
You want me to call you your son?
As she's fixing this, I'm
Lower right hand.
I'm here tonight to go over our cemetery beautification project. We've been working on this with the city clerk's office, Melanie and her staff. And we are just trying to, we've acquired some more land, as y'all know. And so when we add that to our current cemetery, we want to make sure we have the standards that we're trying to meet through our rules and regulations. And currently, there are some areas out there that don't meet our rules and regulations. So we're just trying to clean it up a little bit, make it presentable, and make it, when we expand it, all that good stuff. So, the first thing we'll do in-house, we'll prune and trim some trees as needed. A lot of overgrown oaks out there. We'll raise them up, trim them up, make them look presentable. The ones that we do want to keep out there, because it is nice to have beautiful oak trees out there. You'll see, as I show you the pictures, you'll see some of the issues we do have with low-lying branches, some dead limbs. There are some old trees out there that we do have to take out too. You can see that, like that oak tree looks nice, but it's dying and that kind of stuff. We'll have an arborist come out there and let us know which ones we do need to get rid of, but we'll take care of that in-house with staff. There's another one right there. We got a few of them. The next thing is, this is actually the rules and regulations for our cemetery. I can get you a copy of that if you would like that. I can email it to you.
It's in our minutes.
Okay.
Agenda.
And, but there's violations that are currently going on, and we don't want, we're gonna send out a public notice to those that have plots in our cemetery, and they're gonna get 90 days to abide by our rules and regulations, because for years it's gone, where they can put, you'll notice in our next few slides, what they put out there is not part of our rules and regulations. So I'm gonna go through a few of the slides. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can see the rule, the chapter, resolution number. The rules state boxes, like you can read shells, toys, decorative rocks. That stuff is not supposed to be allowed. It's supposed to be, green grass and the headstone. You can see there on that one, they got everything. They got a tree in the middle, they got some rocks, and they got the paver borders, which we don't allow. These are some examples, just going through this to show y'all what kind of things. That is a tree that was either planted or, that could be on somebody else's plot. So that we'd have to take out anyway, even to even put another, another example, you'll see dead flowers, more rocks, the old garden stone curbing kind of thing you see in some people's yards. Like there's a tree right there that was planted. We can't use that lot right now because we'd have to take the tree out. So we're trying to get to where it's one clean look throughout the cemetery. I know some of the commissioners and mayor receive phone calls on the actual cemetery and how it looks, that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to get that process started. There you see some people leave their bags of rocks for next time they come back, I guess. Some examples, if we don't address the issues, this is what happens. You can see the trees just will keep growing right around whatever we have out there. And the last thing is this is what we envision our cemetery to look like. And with the expansion to the southwest, I would say, or west, we want to make sure we start, had the whole thing. There's other things we're going to look at doing as far as repaving the drive, that kind of stuff. New fencing on the south side eventually, once the 50s West gets completed, all that kind of stuff. So tonight, all we're looking for is a consensus to move forward with recommending this project. Like I said, we will post this public paper and letters to the actual plot owners.
Yeah, we actually have that as item 5
At item 5 on the agenda tonight.
on consent.
So we will do the process, and we're just looking for consensus to get this project started. Any questions?
It's about time, not about time, I'm sorry. I'm glad that you're enforcing the rules because it's out there, and I know our plot's probably covered by one of those bushes you took a picture of, but again, thank you.
I will make a comment on it. I know years ago, when, I think Commissioner Wilson might have been here, we passed the rules and went through that, but it seems like people don't, when we hand them, I know we hand them out when they do the plot, but nobody seems to be listening to it, so.
Yeah, we did, and I think in addition to putting it on as, on the consent agenda tonight, it was important to do this presentation, because 5 years ago or so, when we did bring it up, we started the process. I think you all got calls on it, and we just wanted to show you there's some trees that actually need to be removed near headstones and those types of things right now, and pavers that need to be taken out. So if it's a consensus to go ahead with this, and you will vote on that on number 5, but we just wanted you to know these are some of the things that we're coming across. And you may get complaints, but they haven't been following the rules. We've been telling them they have to follow the rules, and now it's time to just go ahead and do a beautification project there.
So it's okay, everybody got consent to do that?
We're gonna
vote on it.
We're gonna vote on it later,
Yeah, it's on
but,
the consent
okay,
agenda.
I know. I just still asked.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. All right, good job, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Staff reports.
The other thing I have is a brief update on Best Fest Mayor. It was originally scheduled for March 24th, and the Chambers decided not to go forth with it at this time and push it through to September. Date will be forthcoming, and part of the problem was the restaurants are having so many problems staffing right now, they couldn't commit to actually sending their staff down here to the lakefront for the night. So hopefully in September, labor will be not so tight, and we'll get more restaurants to participate.
All right. All right, we're now going into the public comments, and this is for items that are on the agenda, not that part of public hearing. These aren't, the one I got, the other one will be after at the end, public comments. Okay. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner First. All right. We need, anybody else comments? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on along. That's good. All right, first reading of ordinance. Number 14. First reading ordinance for Guerrero property at 1411 North Lakewood Avenue, annexation and rezoning. This will be brought, we will not open public hearing. This will be put back on in February 1st. Go ahead.
All right, this is the annexation ordinance. This is an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the city of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.17 acres located on the east side of North Lakewood Avenue and approximately 110 feet north of Worst Road and 164 feet south of 13th Avenue pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the joint planning area agreement, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date. And the Rezoning Ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R2 Residential District to City of Ocoee R1 Single Family Dwelling on certain real property containing approximately 0.17 acres, located on the east side of North Lakewood Avenue and approximately 110 feet north of Worst Road and 164 feet south of 13th Street pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. It'll be brought back on February the 1st for the second reading. All right. Second reading of ordinance, public hearing, item number 15. Second reading of ordinance for West Starn Surgery Center at 3422 and 3432 Old Winter Garden Road, annexation and rezoning.
Good evening, Commissioners. Please bear with me, I'm still a little under the weather. So this is an annexation request along with a corresponding rezoning from the county A1 zoning to the city's PUD. The property is at 3422 and 3432 Old Winter Garden Road in the southeast corner of the Old Winter Garden Road and Blackwood intersection. Combined, they make up approximately 1.3 acres. The properties are eligible for annexation because it's inside the JPA, it's adjacent to city jurisdiction, and it can be serviced by city utilities. The JPA's current future land use designation for the two properties is professional offices and services, and the applicant's proposed use is as a surgery center. It's immediately to the southwest side of or corner of the existing Orlando Hospital. This is an aerial of the site. It's currently occupied or developed with 2 single-family homes that are vacant. The surrounding future land use categories, generally high density in commercial and office with a small low-density residential on the south side. This is the existing surrounding zoning districts. The 2 site plans that you see here, they're on the ground, they are right next to each other. So the 2 subject properties is represented in the site plan as in color. The site plan that's represented in black and white is the 2 properties immediately east of this site, which was approved by the commission in 2020, for the West Orange Medical Center. This will be the West Orange Surgery Center. I'm showing this to show you what was presented by the applicants when the application initially came in. They were asking for a 15-foot, as part of the land use plan, which is required to accompany a rezoning to PUD. In their land use plan, they're asking for a 15-foot front setback along Old Winter Garden Road, and then a 10-foot front setback along Blackwood Avenue, 10 feet on the sides and rear, which you see that they would meet that here. The maximum building height that they're asking for is 35 feet, comparable to the site next door that was approved. They would be required to provide a minor's buffer per the comprehensive plan policy. The maximum impervious surface area that they're asking for is 70%, but what they're proposing to actually develop is at 50%. Stormwater will be through a combination of surface retention as well as exfiltration underneath the parking areas. And the parking ratio that they're asking for is 1 per 250 square feet. On the other side, or the right next door to it, is the medical office area. When this was approved, it was 3 buildings. The footprint of each of the 3 buildings didn't exceed 4,000 square feet. One of the buildings was 2 stories. This side is, the applicants of this side is now asking for an amendment to what they were previously approved to build. Instead of 3 smaller buildings, to build 1 larger building. The overall square footage is less, but the size of the one building is larger, so we're taking them through a non-substantial amendment to the PUD. At the time that the right side came in, they were required to put in a 10-foot minor buffer because the properties to the east of to the west of them, was single-family residential. Now that the single-family residential is in for a non-residential use, the need for the buffer between these two sites is no longer there. And with this site coming in, staff has seen this as an opportunity for both sides to develop a more cohesive and comprehensive medical center, a medical development at this corner. So during the DRC discussion, we had asked that they work together to have a shared access, shared cross-connection between the two properties, buildings move more close to the front and create a more pedestrian safe streetscape along Old Winter Garden Road, since that is one of the corridors that the city is planning on beautifying. And then there are benefits to both properties for that shared access and cross-access in that, for example, this intersection here to this proposed driveway is approximately 190 feet. And then from this proposed driveway to here, the existing approved driveway is about 150 feet. So with the shared connection that you'll see in the next couple slides, this current side to the right, their customers have to go right in, right out. And if customers need to exit and travel west, they would have to exit, travel down to an unsignalized intersection, make a U-turn, and then travel westward. Having a shared access will allow these folks here on the right-hand side, the medical center, to exit through the rear of the properties onto Blackwood and then go to the light and continue westward. So discussions at DRC centered around the access and circulation, as well as how they would get sanitary sewer to the site. The existing manhole is approximately, it's a couple thousand feet south at the Seminole manhole. There have been conversations with utilities, and utilities is just asking for some flow information so they can resolve that. At DRC and PCC, they recommended approval subject to the two conditions recommended by staff, which is to develop that more coordinated approach and to resolve the utilities, specifically sewer. Since the time of the DRC meeting, the applicants of both properties have worked together, and this is the concept plan that they've come up with so far. You see here that they are going to share one driveway connection. It will still be a right in, right out, but it'll just be one connection onto Old Winter Garden Road, more distance further located from the Blackwood and Old Winter Garden Road intersection. There will be requirements for shared access and cross-access easements, and possibly some arrangement for the utilities as well. And they both have agreed to work with each other to make this wall that the medical center is required to put in, and the wall for the surgery center to be a cohesive wall, so that there isn't, a break, a jet out. These are elevations that we received a couple of days ago from the applicant of the surgery center. This is their corner views. So this is a view of the site internal from the parking lot. As people are driving westbound on Old Winter Garden Road, they will see the nice glass elevations and brick and whatnot with articulated building elevations. This is the view from Old Winter Garden Road, but in the other direction, the eastbound direction, this is the corner right here of the building. And this is what the residents coming northbound on Blackwood would see as they're exiting the residential community on the south side. Based on everything that we've looked at and the applicant's proposed changes and cooperativeness to work with staff to develop a more cohesive corner at this intersection, staff is recommending approval of the annexation as well as the rezoning from County A1 to City PUD, with them continuing to work together to keep that more cohesive design and then resolving utility connections, which will be at the time of site development. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. You got to read.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read the title to these ordinances. The first is the Annexation Ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 1.27 acres located in the southeast corner of the intersection of Old Winter Garden Road and Blackwood Avenue pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And the Rezoning Ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to City of Ocoee PUD Planned Unit Development District on certain real properties containing approximately 1.27 acres located in the southeast corner of the intersection of Old Winter Garden Road and Blackwood Avenue pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Both of them?
Yep.
All right, we'll open to the public. Anybody in the public have any comments on this issue? All right, no comments on item 15. We'll bring it back to the podium. All right, commissioners, anybody have any comments?
I have a couple of questions. The two properties that we're looking at on, that you put up there, are they the same project or are they two separate projects?
Two separate sites, two separate developers and owners.
Okay, and the shared usage that was recommended by the DRC and the P&Z, both properties agreed to this proposed plan?
Yes, sir. The engineering team for both applicants have talked about it, and this is what they presented to staff.
Okay,
So,
and
both-
will that satisfy the requirements of the DRC?
Yes,
It will, okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, anybody else? Any other commissioners? All right, is this, this is tied to the hospital or is it just private? Anybody know?
It's private.
Private,
Private.
okay, all right. All right, no more comments. We need a motion for, we'll do a motion for, first for the second reading of annexation, then we'll do a second motion for the rezoning. Do I hear a motion for the annexation ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for the annexation ordinance. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Brinson. All in favor of this, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, I need a second reading of rezoning. I need a motion for the rezoning.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Brinson. No more comments? Let's vote. Carries unanimously. All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. All right. Public hearing, none. Regular agenda, none. Comments from the citizens and public. All right, I got a comment here from Scott Kennedy.
Good evening. My name is Scott Kennedy. I'm an Ocoee resident. As you may recall, at the last meeting, the subject of procedures for conducting the commission was discussed. And I know that the commission has adopted a variety of procedures to govern themselves. And I was wondering, what is the status of those? And I can't find where they're published. And that's a little bit of a leading question, I'll admit. The reason I'm asking, in reviewing the last meeting, I seem to recall, because I was here, when the commission passed the rule on the 10 minutes, there was a lot of discussion, and I believe the procedure that was adopted was that the 10-minute clock could be stopped if another commissioner who didn't have the floor wanted to discuss a topic that a commissioner was discussing. And what I noticed when I was watching the video was what happened at the last commission meeting was the commissioner who had the floor, Commissioner Oliver. He himself requested the clock to be stopped so that he could prosecute his case on the roll call vote. That seemed to me to be a violation of the procedure that you all adopted, but I can't find anywhere on the website or anywhere else where those procedures, and you've adopted several of them, are published. So I wanted to know, I guess, the status or the weight of those and where they can be found if possible. Thank you.
I'll ask City Clerk. Thank you.
I don't know if, and Scott, you can confirm this, but I don't know that it was adopted so much as a procedure that was put in writing for,
Yeah, you can, I mean, you can go back to the
I mean, they're
meeting when
located
we-
in the minutes.
When we did it. I don't recall, there very well could have been some discussion about stopping the clock. I don't recall what that was. What I do recall was the 10 minutes was really for announcements. It wasn't, I don't think the commission intended it to be kind of a back and forth discussion. It was more for announcements. And then we, at that same meeting, I believe we adopted this procedure which we followed, but never actually carried out, where there's a meeting after the meeting to, for any commissioners that wanted to take more than 10 minutes. So I guess to answer the resident's question, there was discussion, there was a kind of a procedure established by the city commission. You can go back and look at that meeting, the minutes to that meeting, listen to the meeting, watch the meeting, to see what that is. But I don't recall offhand what the decision was with respect to stopping the clock.
I think what we need to do is have City Clerk find that and give us a copy of it and let us see if we can find it for you.
Yeah, in regards to that comment, one of the things that we have to keep in mind is the fact that we are governed by sunshine laws, which means that I can't have conversations with my counterparts outside of the diocese. So therefore, whenever there's a subject matter that comes up, may it be for my district or any other district, this is the only time that we will have to coerce or to have conversations or discuss items with the other commissioners and the mayor. Therefore, with that being said, what happens at that point, if we're taking a 10-minute clock, if we're taking a 10-minute clock, and then a commissioner have that time, therefore, it seems to only right that clock should stop while there's discussion going on amongst the commissioners. So that's kind of my interpretation of what it was when, at the last meeting and even before that. Again, even looking at other comments that commissioners have made, I believe we've stopped the clock in the past before for other commissioners as they require interaction with the other commissioners. So I see you got a hand raised out there, so we'll let the mayor have you come up to make your comment. But basically, that's what my understanding was for stopping the clock.
Hang on. Turn your form in over there. You about missed the meeting?
Well, it says 7 o'clock, the meeting starts.
No, we've changed it a couple years ago.
It says that on, when you Google commission.
Yeah.
Report, it says start 7 p.m.
All right, well, still got you. All right. Mr. Brad.
Brad Lomneck, Veronica Place. Commissioner Oliver, your remarks, I think they're great, but the part of that was also, and it says right here in the agenda, there's a regular agenda section. If there's something that comes up that you need to speak with your other counterparts on the dais, that is what the irregular agenda is for. And if you have something that rises to the level that you need to speak with your counterparts, that's probably something that needs to be put on the agenda so the citizens themselves can also see what that issue is, have time as well to look through that so they can come up in the public comments of that issue and come bring that forward. So the 10 minutes should be for comments. If there's something that you need to speak on your district to your peers, it should be in the regular agenda. Therefore, it's on the agenda and it doesn't affect the sunshine law. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I just need to comment, again, thank you, Mr. Lumnick, for your
Wait a minute
comments.
till I recognize you, okay?
Okay.
I was still stuttering,
Oh,
trying
no,
to,
go ahead.
I was still trying to say something.
No.
All right, I'll wait till you get through, because I'll answer it back. All right, go ahead and answer him, and then I'll address.
Well, again, thanks for the comments, Mr. Lumnick, and I understand exactly what you're saying. Unfortunately, through these meetings, lots of things happen. There's comments that come up, things come up, citizens come up, things happen that is actually not put on this agenda, things that happen that we cannot forecast to be on the agenda. Therefore, conversation comes up, discussion comes up. So therefore, if there is a commissioner speaking and these things come up, and I do understand what you're saying, you're right, I agree with that part. But again, we cannot predict everything that's going to happen here. So we have to be able to be flexible when it comes to the time. So sometimes it's going to happen. We're going to have to stop the clock to have some discussion on something. So it's happened in the past, and I guarantee you it's going to happen again. So we'll be facing the same thing where the clock will have to stop in order to have some type of discussion. So I may have an announcement that requires an answer from the other commissioners. I may have a question for them. So therefore, I have to do that during this meeting while that clock is running, while we're actually in session. So therefore, if I have a question that I need answered from my other commissioners, therefore, I'm asking them to interact with me, so I need for the clock to stop while I get that interaction. That's the only thing I'm saying. But I do understand what you're saying as well.
All right. Before we go to the next form, I would say that we go over this 10-minute thing. It seems like we voted on it 2 times. It's still what it is, and I have given time when we stop the clock back. I have given time. If it's a thing to do, I have done it. But I think what the 10-minute is for us to talk about things we need to make announcements to the citizens, and at the end is where we get a chance to do that. So, did you turn your form in?
Yes, I did.
All right, Mr. Marbase, come on up. Yep. Yeah, I got it. Is Mr. Rumor come out? All right, give us your name and your...
My name is Steve Marbay. I live at 716 East Lakeshore Drive for the last 34 years. I owned a car lot in Rezoning.
I'm gonna start back at 3 minutes. I wanted to tell you you got 3 minutes.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Then I'm going to tell you my history with the Rotary and my history with the car show for 22 years. Okay, look at the first page on my thing. I've been going to Mr. Rumor for the last 3 days, trying to get what I want done. He gave me this piece of paper and wrote these 5 things on the side. Said I had to come to you guys. He wanted a metal fence, and I want to put a wood fence painted with, like my car lot was. He said I had to come to you for permission to have the wood fence. But today, I went back to Mr. Rumor, and he's trying to tell me that he did not, he told me I could use this for a site plan. As I asked him about a site plan, I asked him about another piece of property that was rock. He said the gentleman did his site plan by himself. Okay, he told me I could use his site plan. This morning, he told me, I told you you had to have a survey and a site plan. That's not true.
What do you want to do? I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
keep
don't
going.
stop this
I'm sorry,
time.
I can't stop the
I'm
clock.
on time, keep going, go to the next page. That's what the property looks like right now, okay?
That bus is not there.
Oh, no, not
No,
now.
that's not there.
This was come from Orange County Records.
Yeah, I know, but that's a
All
long
right,
time
look at
ago.
the next page. That's what I want to do.
And
Okay?
that's what you want to do with the fence, but
The
what you want to
fence.
do behind it too. Tell us that.
Behind it, I'm gonna park antique and classic cars as my hobby. I can work on them at my house, I will not be doing any work there. The property is zoned I-1. It's zoned for it's zoned for a used car lot. You know, I rode around town today, I could probably push enough to get a used car lot on that piece of property, but I don't want that. I just want a storage place. Nobody will ever see what's in there, because we got fence on the front, we got chain link on the other two sides covered with black mesh. Nobody will ever see what's in there. Okay, go to the next page. We have a survey. We have where Jimmy bought the property. I got a copy of that there. Everybody see that? Next page is a survey that was done back years ago that shows the railroad and Taylor Street are on that piece of property. I'm in the process of having a current survey done. It's gonna cost me $2,000, but I'm gonna do it. And as far as the right-of-way, I was told that was part of some street behind the diner. So if it's a street, why am I not allowed to use it?
When you get through, then we'll talk about it.
I'm through.
Okay, all right. Mike, you want to come up and say something about the drawings and stuff?
And I apologize for interrupting.
Look me in the eye like you did today.
Do what?
Oh, he told me to look him in the eye today and say that he did not tell me this was a site plan. We had a little to-do out
Oh,
here.
time out,
To-do out here in your parking lot.
Steve, time out. You want to do this, we'll do it in a calm and easy manner here, all right? Hey, he gets to talk now. Okay,
First off, this has nothing to do with Mr. Marbay and the great business he operated within the Ocoee limits. He came to me, we've had 3 discussions prior to today about storing stuff on the property. This property had 2 code enforcement infractions for storing stuff on the property. A parking lot is an approved use. The 3rd time he came to me was, I have a survey, what is a site plan requirement? We discussed that the use I do not agree with, is not allowed, and the fence is not, a wooden fence is not permitted in a commercial district. But I gave him what a site plan would be. Those are my notes. I drew the bushes, I drew the 4 items he has to overcome in a site plan. Irrespective of use and fence, he asked, he's gonna do it, what can he do? He asked about the commission. I said, I cannot tell you to go to the commission. Option 1 is you do a site plan, and I reject it for reasons. There's some things to overcome. Does it require stormwater? We have to look at the driveway. It accesses an unimproved right-of-way, and I would reject the site plan, either based off use or something on that plan, and he can appeal that decision to the city commission. Or I said, if you want to talk to the commission and get there before you do all that, I did say, typically you need a survey. I mean, a civil engineered plan. This parcel is 0.2 acres. I said, what I don't know is if the amount of impervious you're going to use for parking would require a stormwater permit. The average is if you're 4,000 square feet or more, it requires a permit from St. John's. But if the area you're going to show as parking under a parking lot is around that, maybe you don't need a stormwater permit, we could facilitate a site plan for a parking lot on just a survey, a site plan on a survey, not that piece of paper. So he came to me today and said, here, I've done everything. That's the piece of paper I wrote for him. I did not say your use is approved. I'm going to show you an example of a parking lot per the code. This is a parking lot. It's across the street. It's not attached to the worship center. It's a standalone parcel. That is a site plan for a parking lot. It has a landscape buffer, it has landscaping, it has drive aisles, it has approved driveways onto a right-of-way. This is the idea of what a parking lot is. What he wants to do is, what he said, is store stuff. I like antique cars. I want Mr. Marbay to restore cars in Ocoee, but this is not the parcel that he is looking at, the 0.2 acres on the corner of McKee and Kissimmee. We had 2 code enforcement actions for putting stuff on that unimproved lot. So again, that's the last discussion we had was relative to putting a site plan together. The use in the wooden fence, it would not be permitted if it was the parking lot for Amazon. You would not be given a wooden fence. You would not be able to store inoperable trailers. It's a parking lot. Cars come and go, operable cars.
Mike, this is, there is an application submitted or not?
There is not.
Okay, so we're not before the city commission to approve
No.
anything until there's an application that's
Either
been submitted.
approved or denied. If it was approved, it wouldn't come before you. On an 8,000 square foot lot, it's gonna be really tough to get a approved site plan. Maybe it can be done. We can approve a site plan that has a parking lot with appropriate items, as I said, but you use it in the wrong way, we can code enforce it for using. And that's what we're doing, the storage of materials.
You don't have to raise your hand. When he gets through, I'll call on you.
Okay?
So that is,
All right, hold on. Come
I want
on,
you to stand here and tell me you didn't
Come.
tell me that
Whoa.
you used this for a site plan.
stop.
Okay.
Stop.
You looked at me in the eye.
Hey, I asked you once, if you keep on, I'm gonna discuss,
Okay.
we won't discuss it anymore.
Okay.
All right,
So I.
take
what
your
I'm-
time,
what I'm-
wait a minute, wait a minute. All right, I already give you time, but I'm gonna let you have more time, because I'm gonna let the commissioners ask questions too. All right, go ahead.
He approved this as a site plan and went through all the process of doing this. Okay, I'll make a site plan. You told me I could make one myself. You said George down here that just put gravel by the transmission shop made his own site plan. Did you not tell me that? Okay, then I can make my own site plan.
Well, you might make it, but he's already told you this has to come through the city to get it
That's fine.
approved.
But I wanted to do all this before I closed on the property. Well, the property's mine now.
Well,
It's not Jimmy's no more.
let me ask you a question. Is
Sure.
this not the same property that was coded?
Yeah, but
What-
there's
what-
not-
what-
You want to listen to me?
No, I did, but I'm asking you a question.
Okay, what's the
This is
question?
the property, I'm gonna ask Mr. Rumor, is this not the property that we went to court with to get this parking, storing stuff on it off?
Okay,
Through the city? Wait a minute, I'm talking to him.
yes, we had 2 code violations, and the second one was, and it's been in the exact same shape, unused, since that last code
And
violation.
it was Mr. Sills that owned it.
Yes.
And when it got coded. You can't just change the owners and get it changed.
Well, the
All
reason it
right,
was.
all right, go ahead.
The reason it was coded is that it's a dump. My places are not dumb. You all know that. And well, these 2 gentlemen don't, but the other 3, you know, my places was a show place. I had people come every day taking pictures of my old signs and my car memorabilia. That's what I want to do downtown. You don't think that would be a draw downtown? Oh, you want my place to look like there are other places around there? You told me not to mention anybody. I'm not mentioning anybody. But drive past that lot and look to your left and look to your right. Am I wrong, Rosemary?
Can I say something now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Marbay, yeah, I knew your location. I've
And
known
it's a
you for
parking
years.
lot, it's not a
You
storage.
can't talk.
But the concern I have, okay, it was coded because the previous owner put, if I remember, construction material in there,
Right,
okay?
exactly.
But when the code says you can't have a fence, okay, it sounds like Mr. Rumor is willing to listen to what you have to say, keeping within the code.
He wanted me to put a metal fence, if you read this thing.
No, but
The last thing says, if fence, metal, and chain link. I'm asking to have wood, so it resembles my car lot.
Okay, but you can't, but see, when we have a code, we have to enforce it across the board to everyone. And
Okay.
I'm not here,
Okay,
I'm just
so-
saying is that, personally, I'd like to see you work with Mr. Rumor and handle it where you know, according to what the code says. And then let it come back and let us talk, and
And
it
then I'll
comes
put
back.
up a metal fence and paint it white and put a red stripe on it.
Well, we don't want, you have to remember, please, that whatever you're doing is the downtown is our newest area coming. We're spending a lot of money down there.
Sure.
And I don't want you just to slap something up just because if you're angry about what we're saying.
No, I'm not slapping
No, I'm just saying, okay, it's not you in particular, okay, but I'm concerned that we stay within the appearance that we want to make downtown a show place.
Okay.
And you want that too, because that increases value of everyone's property.
Right, exactly.
But
So what-
I want you to work with everyone so that,
I've been
hopefully,
trying. I went to him 3 times to try
Okay.
to get this right.
but we need to remember that we need to kind of come down a little bit and talk about what we can do in a manner that will fit within that property,
Okay.
within that site.
Can I ask you a question, Commissioner? If you could get it approved to put a fence up, what do you do about the stored vehicles on it?
See, that's a concern too,
It's a
because
parking lot.
I-
Now, all the cars run. He asked me today.
He's told you that it's against the ordinance.
No, it's not. It's a parking lot's approved there, Mr. Rumors, is that
it's
right?
a parking lot, but not storage is what you're.
I'm not
what-
storing nothing there. I'm parking cars there. They all run.
Okay, what's the difference between leaving cars there as just leaving them?
Because he asked me if they run. I said, yeah, they run.
Okay, well,
You know where my house is. I work on them at my house.
I know, I'm sorry, Mr. Marby, I know, okay, I know what you've done. I've known you always very meticulous. But that's not the point. We're trying to make sure that it stays within what the code allows. And if it's a storage facility where you're going to park cars, it's not a parking lot. It's storage.
Okay, well, if you pull up I-1 zoning, virtually anything can be put on that piece of property.
All right,
Virtually
I'm-
anything.
all
I
right,
just
now-
picked the parking lot because
Did
that's
you-
what I'm
you
gonna
fill out
do
a form?
is park cars.
All right, I got two other people want to speak too. All right, who else filled the form out?
I'm not working.
Did either one of y'all? Anybody? Okay. Craig, you want to make comments? No.
I like to.
All right. Huh? Yeah. All right.
Craig Shadrick's Assistant City Manager. This has multiple facets to it. I've been in contact with Mr. Rumor since he had his first meeting with Mr. Marbay. Mike did exactly what he was supposed to do as a director of a department in the city. He did inform him that he would not support the use there based on sound legislation that is in the Land Development Code. He also offered him a means of still submitting a site plan, and his rendering up here is exactly right, and I don't remember who said it, but this is a matter of use as much as anything else. And parking cars as a means of storing them is a different use than having a parking lot for ingress and egress of vehicles that are coming and going. Now, Mike can work with Mr. Marbay to submit a site plan to do something like that, which would fit into the downtown, within the downtown guidelines. And if you drive around downtown, it doesn't look great yet, but it will if we allow the right things to go in there. And that's something that's up to the city commission, but we have legislation, we have downtown development design guidelines that we spend a lot of time and money on and public participation on. And one thing that the commission will have to be mindful of as additional uses come in there is, what do you want downtown to look like? And that's all I have to say.
All right. Commissioner Brinson.
Normally, when we get these, an application has been submitted.
Right.
That's the norm.
I understand that.
And so I guess, I'm not sure if we're putting the cart before the horse or the chicken before the egg, or I'm not sure what's.
Okay,
but-
what I'm doing,
Hang on a second. When we get these before the commission, normally we have P and Z recommendations, we have city staff recommendations, we have a litany of information that we can go over, over 3 or 4 days, that we have an opportunity to look at.
I understand that.
But in this case, I'm not afforded that opportunity to look at that. I'm sure that your property, or what you're in your mind, what your property will do, will be beneficial not only to the city and downtown and our streetscape, but also for whatever your needs are. But what I want to make sure is that the way we address this is proper. And it seems a little improper that there's not an application on, and then we're talking about that tonight.
Can I answer you
Sure.
now? This is what Mr. Roomy told me to do. He said, come to the commission.
Stand up to the mic. You gotta have recording.
This is what Mr. Roomy told me to do, come to the commission meeting tonight, so you all were all together and get the approval for the wooden fence.
Mike, Mr. Marbay, and I talked to you 2 or 3 times. I told you at the restaurant that time, and I told you before, you won't get it coming to this tonight.
I didn't say,
Wait,
I'm not expecting to get it.
Let me finish, okay? Please, listen, I've helped you, I've worked with you, I've done everything to try to help you, but I'm trying to explain to you what we have to do, and what he said is the truth. You can come, you said it a while ago, and that's it.
I
But
agree I agree 100%.
no matter what we say, you're not listening. You go back and do exactly what he said do, not use his. You go get the survey done, you go get the site plan thing done, then you bring it back through the process. It'll go to plan and zoning, and then it'll come to us. It won't go to plan and zoning, no. All right, but I'm just telling you, it's gotta go through the process and come back on the agenda for us to vote on. That's not there tonight. And I will say that I, for the life of me, can't understand how he sold that property knowing full well you couldn't store stuff on it to you.
I'm not storing stuff, I'm putting a parking lot.
No, sir, that's storing it. You gonna store all your
Okay, do I need to have,
vehicles.
do I need to have an attorney
right.
determine between storage and parking? And I wanna say something right now. I went to this gentleman 3 times. He told me to come talk to you guys tonight. I know was not submitted or nothing like that. He just wanted to get y'all's approval for me to do the wooden fence instead of a metal fence. That's the only reason I'm here. And the fact that the gentleman told me in that office over there that we could use this for a site plan on Friday, and on Monday, or Tuesday, because you weren't open yesterday, on Monday, I had to have a different site plan.
Well, here's the deal. It's gonna have to go through the process. You gotta go back. You gotta fill out the whole thing like he told you, the way to do it, step by step.
Yeah, I understand
Then
that.
it'll go through, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But I can tell you, if it's storage like that,
It's
it
not
won't
storage,
work.
it's
Well,
parking lot.
and if it can't be a wood fence, it won't be a wood fence. So if you want just parking, then you don't need a fence. If it's a parking lot, you don't need a fence.
I want a fence. I don't want somebody to see what I got. I mean, who said storage? No, they're cars that I bring back and forth from my house and I sell online. I don't sell nothing there.
All right, anybody else? I'm not.
Is the parking lot open to the public?
No.
Can the
Is it open
public
to the-
drive in anytime they want and park there?
Well, is that a requirement? I don't think that's a requirement.
No, but that's a parking lot.
Okay, well then
If
I'll,
it isn't- if it isn't-
I'll open it up, anybody can park in it at night. I was gonna have it closed so nobody could see in there and it looked nice for the city. All my antique signs that I had on the car lot are all gonna go on that wall. I wanted to put a bench out there. Did you see my diagram where one of your nice city benches could be sitting out front there?
I don't think you could get it in there because it's with the.
No, there's a 15-foot
But-
right of way. I was down there
They're fixing
measuring.
to also widen that road in there. I don't know if that's been told to you too, but that's fixing to be,
When's that happening?
and within the next year or two. That's
Okay.
in the plans. That's already drawn up.
All right, that's fine.
I don't know, all right, here's the thing. You can't use that. You've got to go back through the process. When he tells you what it is, you go through that process and get it, and he'll bring it, we'll get it voted on.
Okay. Anybody else questions while you see my drawings or my
We
intentions?
got, isn't that what we got?
Yeah, I just want to know if there's any questions while I'm here.
I just have one comment. I'm gonna have to agree with Commissioner Wilson. I think it'd be a great idea if you can possibly work with Mr. Roomer and come up with a plan that would actually would work for the city and the aesthetics that we're looking for in the city. I think you'll find it a lot easier to get approval once you actually work with Mr. Roomer.
Well, I'm not here for approval. I'm here because Mr. Roomer told me to come and get you guys approval not to have a metal fence. That's why I'm here.
Well, I think it boils down, if you just work with him, whatever the issue may be, the fence, the parking lot, or whatever, or the setback, whatever that may be, if you work with Mr. Roomer, it's probably a good opportunity to get what you want, and the city would also get what we want as far as aesthetics that we want as well.
All right, thank you. I can throw one more thing out here. 22 years I've been doing the car show downtown. The last car show, all the merchants come to me personally and got a hold of me and thanked me for having the car show. Why can't we have one once a month downtown?
Well,
Huh?
nobody said we couldn't have one once a month.
Okay.
That's a separate entity altogether.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
I think somebody I know that the city donated $500 to the city thing.
Yeah, and
for you to
I
put
know
that-
somebody that had to pay $30 for a permit
Well,
to
that's
close the
part
streets.
that's part of doing stuff, Steve.
Okay.
I mean, Jesus, Wilkers.
You know how much,
Well, next time I won't give the 500.
you know how much your $500 covered?
Huh? Well, you didn't want it?
I got sponsors to pay for all the rest
You
of it.
didn't want it?
Oh, I want, I
okay.
got sponsors to pay for all the rest of it.
Here's the deal. I don't know about the rest of these commissioners, and I told you, I've known you a long time, and You had a nice building everywhere, it's not what will fit in down at this downtown. Now, if everybody on this board wants to do this stuff downtown, then we might as well not do what we set in the plans. The plans have been set. Even the guy that sold you the property knows that. He knew full well.
This has nothing to do with
Sir,
selling the property.
you have got to quit talking over us when we try to talk. All right? I mean, see, if he can make it work, but I can tell you, I'm not voting on a wood fence down there. I won't.
Look at my pictures, guys.
I know what your pictures are. That ain't the same as what
Did
it.
you see the picture on my card?
How do we talk?
Okay.
Sit down a minute. Sit down. I'm gonna finish what I'm saying, and then we're gonna get on to what other stuff we gotta do. You go back through the process, go to him. I'm not against it. I'm not, unless the city says it's not what we can do. If they don't, and any other commissioners up here wanna vote something like that and put it downtown, more power to them, because we're gonna be in a lot of problems. Because somebody just spent a lot of money for another building down there that they don't wanna see that stuff either. And I'm telling you, that's not what the downtown is supposed to be. So I'm gonna tell you, you have got to go through that gentleman right there and get your thing done. And then when he gets through, he'll bring it to us and then we'll see what we can do. And I know Mike well enough to know that Mike's not gonna tell lies and say things that he did or not did. He does this job a long time and he's good at it. And I've known you a long time, but you don't take patience. You know, you gotta take some patience with this.
But I'm excited about it. You know, here,
Well, we're not, I'm not,
you wanna tell me something? Here, listen to this story.
I tell you what,
I had a car lot, let me talk, please.
no, I'm not, no, it's done. It's done. That's it. I've given you way more than the 3 minutes, Steve. I know, you won't let other people talk.
I want
No,
to talk.
no, you won't.
Tell me when I'm ready to talk.
You're not getting to talk no more tonight. That's it. Mike, come up here a minute, please. Not to me, up there at the podium. I want up here. I don't want you up here. You go through the process and do what it has to be done the way the city says it has to be done. And then take with him, if you need somebody else there, or something like assistant city manager being on it, do that. But you get the process where he can put in applications to do that. And I don't know if you can do that till the property's in your name legally. When's it gonna be in your name?
Closing's Thursday.
All right, well, Thursday, after Thursday. So you do what you have to do through what the city's instructions are. Then you can bring it back, and we'll look at it and vote on it.
Yes, it would be a small-scale site plan, depending on what the applicant asks for in the application. It might be something I have to deny, and they can request a variance or a waiver before this commission. I just caution to go through the expense of a nice parking lot. It may or may not have to be from a licensed engineer, and then just to be code enforced for the type of use on the property.
All right.
That's just my
That's
my
it.
caution.
So that's what you gotta do. That's it. That's all on that subject.
Mr. Mar-
Each one of y'all's business cards, y'all got business cards?
Mr. Marbury, you've got more time than I get. So you've got ample enough time to actually say. what
You
have
can
to
go
say.
out, the business cards are out front, at the front desk. Yeah. All
Thank
right.
y'all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right.
Richard, I'm serious, Brad.
Oh, he's so.
All right. Well, that was entertaining. All right. Oops. Anybody else in the public have any comments? All right. All right, comments from commissioners. Commissioner Brinson.
I will try to keep my comments short. We're talking about construction. We're talking about beautification of the city, downtown, our cemeteries. You know, we have a lot of construction citywide, and that's important for us as a municipality, because as we wake up and we start growing, it's gonna cause heartache and pain. I've said this on numerous occasions before, that you have to be mindful when traversing the city, going through construction sites. Please exercise patience and caution as well, especially when you're trying to maneuver through these workarounds. Some of them are detours, some of them are people just trying to cut through different neighborhoods, trying to get around construction sites. Remember, our children are still out there in the streets playing, riding their bicycles, walking to and from school. So that's important that citywide there's construction, but it's also important for us to be mindful, reasonable, and responsible as we drive in these motor vehicles. If you have any suggestions, obviously, if you're listening to this or viewing this, you see that the commission meeting is not always stuffy. It can be entertaining. And so I would recommend that you reach out to us for any suggestions or recommendations you have. Reach out to our elected officials and our professional staff to make our city better. That's also important. And the last thing I'm going to mention is I'm sure, or I suspect that other commissioners will, or the mayor will also address this, and that is COVID-19 protocols. I think this new variant is not as bad as the previous variant. However, it's still contagious. So I would recommend that everyone extend to their coworkers, their family members, people they come into contact with, the common courtesy to exercise protocols by wearing their mask and staying 6 feet apart when they can. And please, I'll say this again because I just had to address this matter earlier today. Please do not ridicule people who choose to wear their mask. It is their right, just as if you do not want to wear yours, you don't wear it. But please, a little respect and courtesy when dealing with one another in the public. Thank you.
That it? Commissioner Wilson.
No, well, thank you.
Change the clock around.
Okay, yes.
Well,
Give me like 10 minutes. I will
Yes,
take
you got it.
Thank you. I will comment on that in a second, but this last couple of days, I've had the opportunity, not that I haven't had the opportunity, but driving around Ocoee, and I believe it's something called Live Local. And I was pleased to see, I was up in either, I'm not sure if the ice cream shop is in, I think it's in your district, right, Mr. Brinson, yes, that, you know, you don't have to go to our other cities to find the businesses that are right here in town. And, you know, I do spend a lot of time, mostly between District 2 and probably District 3, but that's just where my general life takes me. But going into the other parts of town, you see there's businesses there. If you want businesses to come here and to stay here, we have to frequent our local businesses. By finding that ice cream shop, I don't have to go to Winter Garden. I can stay here in Ocoee, which is what we want you to do. Yes, I go to Claremont, I go to Winter Garden, I go to Orlando to shop, yes. But would I love to see the businesses right here? Yes. And would I frequent them here? Yes. So I ask you as residents to please, not just tell us what you want, but to frequent the businesses that we have here. The other item I was going to mention, I know that it was brought up about Mr. Kennedy regarding the 10 minutes. I believe that was kind of went to the discussion. I think I kind of brought that up when it happened, and or maybe not. But we were getting to the point where it was being a half an hour. Some commissioners speaking for half an hour, and to me, that was just a little lengthy. I spend my week, and Rob can attest to this, and Craig if he was here, that when I have questions during the week, I call them. I call different department heads. I get my answers. I think that, I don't know if I've really ever asked for anything to be put on the agenda because I've gotten my answers and I then comment to my citizens. I'm one that just prefers to talk one-to-one to my residents and tell them what's going on, and if they have questions, they call me. So I consider this 10 minutes as our opportunity to, if you have some announcements to make, like I just did, I like to be brief. I like my residents to call me and tell me what their concerns are, and if I don't have the answer, I call within the city and take care of it immediately that week, or that day if I can. So that's my opinion to where the 10 minutes comes in. And the other aspect is that we all agreed, and our attorney agreed that this was not violation of sunshine law, that we had 10 minutes after the meeting to sit out here and to talk to our residents, not commenting from other commissioners, because we probably, most of us would leave unless you wanted to give 10 minutes. But we were able to use the camera for 10 minutes to make general announcements to our residents. The attorney said that this was legal and that it wasn't violating anything because we weren't talking to our, it's posted, and we were not talking directly to our other commissioners. And no one's used this yet. Maybe one day I will. But I think that covered everything. And I think personally 10 minutes is more than adequate. And I hope that most of you all call Rob and ask him questions if there's a concern you have or a resident has a concern. Because if you tackle the issue right then, your resident doesn't have to come down here and talk. wait 45 minutes to come speak to us, and they get their answers. And that makes them, to my opinion, and I've been doing this for 12 years, they're happy. They like that one-on-one. So, off my soapbox, thank you. How long did it take?
That it?
That's it.
Commissioner First, going along with what Commissioner Wilson just said, I believe that the regular agenda is the proper area for things for the commission to discuss openly. If there's a topic that we all need to weigh in on, that's the time to do it. And also, it's been expressed that it'll be published in the agenda and the public, general public, will be aware of it. So if they have any concerns, they can do it. The 10 minutes after the meeting, it's never been used, so I don't know how effective that is. I felt that we do need time to be able to get together due to the Sunshine Law and just discuss anything, just have open conversation. So I had asked for and received a workshop once a month. It was announced and published and everything, and I think we had one of those. And there was nothing really to discuss, and after that, it just went to the side. No one was interested in that anymore. So I think what we're doing is all right. We've got the bases covered. If you want to bring that workshop back, we could always do that. But I think we have enough time to discuss what we need to talk about right here in the regular agenda. If it is outside, just making announcements. Also, what Commissioner Wilson said is we have a lot of new businesses coming to town, a lot of new businesses of all different kinds, food businesses, retail stores. We need to publicize that more. I'm going to talk with the CRA manager and see if she has any recommendations on how we can get out some information to the public and let them know what businesses are coming to town. Everybody wants certain things, and it's kind of interesting after doing this for a while when someone comes up to you and says, hey, why don't we have a Whole Foods? Get a Whole Foods in town. You go, okay, how am I gonna do that? Yeah. Somebody stole my magic wand, you know. The people don't understand that those businesses have got to want to come here, and they have to meet requirements to come here. And it's not up to us on who wants to come to our town and set up shop. So we just do the best we can as to screen them as far as what would be good for the town, and screen them also on the other end as what may not be good for the town. We don't want it overrun with any certain kind of business, you know, and become known as the car dealership capital of Central Florida. If you've been down 50 into Claremont now, it's unbelievable. I lived out there for a while. Now I don't recognize the place. You could stop anywhere on 50 and throw a stone in any direction and hit a car lot. So, you know, we have to be careful with that. Other than that, I don't have any comments. District 3 is healthy, well, and live down there, and they're all pretty happy. Haven't received any complaints. No issues, no comments, so I guess we're doing something right. Thank you.
Commissioner Oliver.
Over the last 2 meetings, we've had members, citizens join our HRDB board, which is Mr. Lumley last meeting, Mr. Kennedy this meeting. So I want to thank you guys for your service in joining these boards and helping us out in the city. So thank you so much for taking your time to join these boards and help make a difference in our city. Also, I want to kind of piggyback on what Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Firstman talked about new businesses. One particular business is the ice cream shop that I've frequented quite often, which I have my own membership card. So I can't stay out of that place. So I think when I leave here, I'll probably be stopping by there tonight myself So it's great to have new businesses like that we don't have to go to Winter Garden, or we don't have to go to Orlando to patronize those type of businesses. So again, you have a business in the city, I'm always looking for places to eat, restaurants, candy shops, anything with sweets. So when those open up, I always encourage them to come and let us know that you're here so we can come and patronize you. Also, one of the comments we talked about, that 10-minute thing there, and as you all know, that I disagree with the 10 minutes. So there's not no mistaking that, and I'm sure we all know why the 10 minutes been put in place. But that's okay too. So, but again, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? So again, we have issues come up where there was one thing that I wasn't going to mention tonight that I was going to wait to put it on the agenda, but it could be a bad idea. It could be just a horrific idea. And the idea actually came from a citizen. A citizen wanted to know, why doesn't the city of Ocoee have a mobile stage? As we put on different music festivals and different things like that, and we have to purchase these type of equipment, and they want to know, why don't we have a mobile stage? I told the citizen that I may bring it up tonight, I may not. But again, not trying to make a motion or anything, but
Stop the clock. If you go back and look at the record, you will find out I brought that up to buy one. I tried 2 or 3 times to buy a portable stage, but the portable stage will not work for the kind of concerts we have, but it will work for little things.
Yeah.
But I have brought that up 2 or 3 times before, and it was turned down. And we got one right now, a guy offering us one that's a huge one that used to be with the James Strait show, but you're talking about $120,000. But it is huge. It folds out, goes out, spreads out, and does all that stuff. But again, I tried to buy one that was like 40, and they wouldn't nobody vote for it. So go ahead, start the clock back.
So see, that's my point. See what just happened there? He had to make a comment based on what I said. But other than that,
I didn't have to.
No, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the fact that we had a discussion. There was a discussion there, and he brought up a valid point. We stopped the clock. These things are going to happen. We can't control those things. So that's what we were talking about stopping the clock, being able to interact with one another when it comes to these kind of things. So again, not asking for a vote, not asking for a motion, but just simply to see the idea of doing something. And maybe we want to put it on the agenda. I don't know if that's something Mary might want to put back on the agenda to see if we want to cross that threshold again.
You get through and I'll talk about it when we get.
Okay, well, again, that's my point. But nonetheless, I digress. Let's talk about COVID. All right, COVID-19 started in March of 2020, and everything started shutting down. I remember being in Birmingham. Everything started shutting down. I had to get back home, and we were all shut in. And one of the big things was getting vaccinations. And the county started setting up different vaccination locations. Yeah, if you can put that flyer there, that would be great. The county started setting up different vaccination locations during COVID when it first hit in 2020. And the thing that really got me was the fact there was 2 things that happened. In West Orange County, particularly our city of Ocoee, our schools did not have the lunch program through Orange County Public Schools. We had to beg them to have a site here in Ocoee. We had 7,000 students that had no lunches, where every other city had the lunches. Once again, we got caught in the shuffle. The vaccination sites, we had to go down to the convention center, or we had to go to Barnett Park, different places like that. There was nothing in West Orange County that would actually cover us for COVID. So when we start talking about COVID services, now we've dealt with a original COVID virus, we've dealt with a Delta virus, and now Omicron virus. Throughout all these things, we needed testing, we needed vaccinations, we needed the monoclonal treatment programs, all these things that they're happening in the county. The county's actually putting one in Barnett Park, they're in South Orange County and East Orange County. We have yet to get the things that we need in West Orange County. And the problem that I'm having is the fact that we've been kind of caught up in the shuffle for a very long time when it comes to COVID. And we have West Oaks Mall, other places, and Winter Garden that could have offered these sites, but the county has not seen fit to bring these type of sites to us for even just basic COVID testing. So I have a problem with that.
Is that a political ad for that candidate? Sure.
Yeah, it is.
That's a political ad. That's no.
That's what I'm partnering with.
Scott, can you
Stop the clock. It's,
Was that political?
Up in the corner.
Candidate
It
for
is.
state
Yeah.
representative, District 45.
Is that?
Because,
I'm just partnering to, they donated money to do
we
a
don't need a
site.
picture on it, just have it,
It's-
just send the form out.
And if there's a problem, we can take that down, that's not a problem. The most important thing, I will make sure that that's taken care of, but the most important thing is actually what we're trying to do in West Orange County, because the county has just simply got us caught up in the shuffle when it comes times to these type of things. So, I do know that most of you probably have already heard, you probably got text messages and, phone, you got text messages.
Stop that clock, start the clock back.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
I forgot
We've
I
had
stopped it.
text messages and phone conversations throughout the day where the government is actually offering us free COVID testing. You can actually go to www.covidtest.gov. That's COVID test with the S, so it's full. covidtest.gov, and actually each home is eligible to receive 4 COVID tests per household. So that's definitely a good place to start with COVID testing, and I think that's a great program that just came out. I don't know if it came out yesterday or today, but I just got that information today. Also, in response to being caught up in the shuffle with the county, again, I've been able to partner with Connect Med as well as Melissa Myers to talk about a free COVID testing site. We've connected with them to have a COVID testing site at the Apostolic Worship Center, which is at 8001 Silver Star Road. It's going to be Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be held daily until this COVID goes down, until the active variant goes down. And it starts this Friday, January 21st. You can also sign up, register for this free COVID testing. You can actually go to my Facebook page. It's at Commissioner George Oliver III, District 4, City of Ocoee. And there's a hot link there. Just click on the link. There's a QR code there. You can sign up. I guarantee there probably won't be a lot of lines. You can get through, get in, and get out. Mr. Jim Moyer, who's not here tonight, he actually suffered some issues with his knees and some other issues he had, which he had to have some emergency surgery. So, Jim, if you're watching here, we are definitely praying for you and want you to get back to us soon. We need to get you back to work, and I know you want to get back to work, so we're definitely praying for your speedy recovery. And finally, I will end with this quote. It seems that, apropos that we just celebrated MLK Day yesterday, and a lot of his speeches and comments were about unifying and bringing communities together. So I thought about One Ocoee, and it says, when I think about One Ocoee, it reminds me of the phrase e pluribus unum, which is Latin for out of many, one. We are many faces, colors, and cultures that have come together as one community. We are a unified community working together, working towards a common goal, to be better. One Ocoee is a community of people from all walks of life that has come together to set an example for all of us, for all to see what can be accomplished when we set aside our differences and work together to create a strong, vibrant community. We are One Ocoee. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right. The State of the City. Citizens are invited to attend the City of Ocoee State of the City report on Tuesday, February 1st at 5:45 p.m. here in City Hall. A video will highlight the city's accomplishments of the last year and what's planned for 2022. I would like, if we have everybody we can, make sure the TV's working and everybody's on. This thing is, we're trying to put it together now. They've been working on it. So we'll try to have it, I hope it's still gonna be on, what is that, February 1st. The Parks and Recreation Department presents the Fall Music Series, Music in the Park. We need to have people come to that. They're doing a great job, and it's great music. Join us on Friday, January 21st from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Bill Breeze Park. Enjoy musical performances by Breezeway Band and indulge in a variety of food trucks. Bring your own chair and blankets so you may social distance at the Grand Lawn while you enjoy music, food, and family fun activities. All right, it is great, people. Try to come to that. two or three other things about pertaining to the city and code enforcement things. I want to ask Melanie to call the county. When we put our campaign signs out, folks, we got a timeline. It's a timeline faction. And for some reason, we have campaign signs that are big billboards that have been up since last summer. And the collection's not till next November. It's a little, and you're not anywhere in the county. I ride around the county. They're in the same people. And it don't matter who it is, whether they live here or live somewhere else. This is not the time to put signs on our street corners. We have laws and rules that say that. And I think we need to check with the county because that's not our elections. They're in our city with big billboard signs on our corners. And we need to address those issues with the county office for the voting because they put signs up 2 years ahead of time. I mean, if you're gonna run for office, you don't need to put it up 2 years ahead of time. If you wanna put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down, that's fine. But putting them up 2 years ahead of time and a year and a half ahead of time is not what we should have. And I'd like somebody to find out, because I've had some citizens ask me, they said that everywhere they go in the neighborhood, they got signs out there, been out there for a year already. So, and the election's not till November. The other thing is the lights on 50, Rob. I talked to Steve about, or CRA board lady, and Ginger, and that's over a year we've been waiting on those lights to go in that road. You know, and all we heard from Duke is how much they wanted to help us. We can't even get them to put the lights up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because they're trying to blame COVID on, or the supply chain issues with that, Mayor. We were one of the first ones to get the LEDs approved, so I'll get an update from her and see if we have any better idea of how that's going at this point.
And somebody put on Facebook the other day about grocery stores. We don't want no more Publix, or they were saying Publix, but folks, we don't have the chance to. We can't tell them what they're going to put in that. It's their business, their store. They don't come say, hey, would you like us to put in this and that? No, that ain't how it works. So please understand, we just want to get them a grocery store up on the north side and a gas station. So I think that's got to come. The stage, yeah, I've worked on that 3 or 4 times. You didn't get nobody to vote on it, and it's a thing we should have had. Winter Garden lets us use theirs, but that would have been one you could have borrowed when you went and did that other program. You could have borrowed Winter Gardens. They'll let us borrow it. But there is a stage set with a semi-truck that lets out to probably 40 by 70. But it's $120,000, which was probably a $300,000 vehicle. But James Strait shows, which used to be the fairs there, they've called me twice wanting to know if we wanted to do it. And I'm scared to say that because I brought up one that's 30 or 40 and they didn't want to buy that one, so why waste my time? But we could look at it and see if it wanted to get approval from all of you guys that do that. COVID, listen, I think it's great to put out signs and put out things. I don't think we need pictures. I look at Mary Demons on TV all the time, and I look at other people. They send out things, and I don't see pictures. I don't think it's a good time to campaign. I think it's a good time to be working on saving people's lives. And that COVID is one of the problems. I got my daughter, my granddaughter, my son-in-law, and my other grandson, and married out, and all of them had COVID. Every one of them. I think our staff, and we have a lot of that with our staff. I wear a mask in a lot of places now more than I did before, because even after I've had the shots and the thing, I still respect going in places and wearing the mask. I went to a function last Saturday night in Orlando at the Plaza Theater for a musical concert, and everybody in there just about had on masks, which I thought was great. And so that's the thing. But also, and another thing before we end, and Mr. Marbass and I've known each other a long time. I talked to him at a restaurant and told him exactly what Commissioner Brinson asked. I said, it's got to go through the process. But he didn't want to hear that. And I've known him a long time. I donated $500 through our accounts, that we get discretionary fund for his car show. I've told him again that I will help anytime to do it. But no matter what you do, it don't seem to make him happy. But if you want to keep our town moving in the direction that we've been trying to move for the last 5 years, 6 years, you better take a close look at what this is going to do. And it was sold to him by a person that knows full well what that was allowed. And I can't believe he did that. But look at what he wants to do. Go up and look at it and see. I mean, that's not what I'd like to see him put in a building and put something up like a museum. That's not what it is. I think we have to, as purveyors of what's gonna happen in our downtown, we have to look at what we're doing, and that's a big part of it, right there on that's a main corner, downtown Ocoee, that somebody's wanting to put condos on the other corner that'll fit in, and somebody's wanting to spent that money on that building, that big building downtown, who wants to put restaurants and all that in. So you gotta bring people in. So just think, and I respect Mike Rumor. I have watched him work for the last 10 years or whatever he's been here. He does a great job, and I know what he would say. He didn't say the stuff that was gonna be the opposite of what was told. And like I said, I think a lot of Mr. Marbase and his family, and I've known him, I knew his father, and they've been around here a long time, he lives up there, but listen, this is what comes down to how we decide what happens in our city. And that's what matters to us, is what's gonna happen in this city. I think everybody knows, you know, just gotta let him come through the process, and I did tell him that. And I appreciate everybody looking at it. Let's see what happens when it goes through the process. And I tell you what, the music thing is a great thing. I wish people would come to it, and I think we need to get more people involved and make sure it's on the TV thing and all that for people to see it, because we do need to have that, making that thing operate. So once again, I think we have to pay attention to the COVID. It's got to be, everybody's got to be safe and be secure, and watch out for where you go, how you go, and what you wear. So, all right, we have our next meeting is, what is it, February the 1st? February the 1st. Thank you very much for coming tonight and participating. Thank you. Meeting over.